The time is now 6:30, and I'll call this meeting to order. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Thank you. Finally got some time.
If everyone could turn their mics on, please. We'll start with roll call.
Sean Peterson.
Virginia Allen. Linda Stearns.
Stephanie Walsh.
Naomi Smith. Lisa Carey.
And Linda Fedor and Kevin Coder let me know that they would not be able to attend tonight. So the first thing on our agenda would be to review and accept the minutes from our June 17th, 2026 meeting.
Madam Chair, it's listed on these minutes that I was present and absent. I have a lot of jobs, but I can't be in two places at once. Sorry.
And you were absent.
And I was absent,
Okay.
yes. And it also has Ms. Carrot listed as an alternate. Don't think you are.
No, she had, so that I had given you voting rights, but I had actually given Kevin voting rights. Yeah. Any other changes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with the amendments.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor, raise your hand.
I abstain.
Motion carries. Okay. The next would be citizens' participation. So if anyone would like to come up and speak, feel free. Is the mic on? It is. It is, okay. Thank you. You're welcome.
I'll be fresh. Good evening, Matt Radant, Musa. So two quick questions. I know we are currently warning for a town meeting next Wednesday regarding the $250,000 regarding the trash plant to come out of our fund balance. But currently, and up until this has gone through the Board of Finance, we're warning for a meeting that doesn't truly have legitimate standing yet by our charter and processes. So given that fact, and I know there is a special meeting scheduled for the day before, to me, it's not a great look to have a warning for a meeting that's not actually official per our rules in town until the day before. So my question would be, why wasn't this question or topic added to tonight's agenda as the regular meeting? Why was a special meeting not scheduled perhaps earlier to allow for at least 5 days of warning of a proper meeting? And if we could have that topic added to tonight's agenda to ensure that we at least are maintaining good faith about having all of this publicity pushed about the information and the town meeting element with it having a proper footing in our town charter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I just quickly address Mr. Reed? Some of the Board of Finance members have no say where the agenda is made, and some of us do take exception to the fact that there was a public hearing put on the schedule before the Board of Finance had an opportunity to discuss for a vote, and I don't think it looked good either. And these are things we need to start really honing in on. It's proper procedural process, because in our charter it states we follow FOIA, and it almost looks preemptive to me, or predetermined. So I agree with you, Mr. Reed. Thank you.
Gary Stellawani Musa. I totally agree with Matt on that. I know in the last elections, they're gonna put it to the informational meeting for the town. But why did he sign a contract the following day? That's what I wanna know. To hire the attorney.
Yeah.
Okay, on the 11th. And secondly, Lisa, what are the items that you were requesting for as far as for tonight? Funds, various funds?
Yeah, the transfer of funds.
Okay,
And clean up the accounts. We're
Okay,
discussing it for a few months now, things have been labeled in the bank one thing, and we have now the town road aid, we're hoping to make construction funds, have everything separate. Like, we still have the Plainfield Medical Center.
that's what I was saying,
It's
yeah.
still sitting out there, and I just
Was
want
it
to
like
clean it up.
300K or something like
It's
that?
actually now almost 6. It's
Is
over
that, yeah,
5.
okay, yeah.
And so Board of Finance has copies of the bank statements, they have current balances as of last week, and this has been discussion with both the auditors as well as the town attorney. So that's part of today's discussion.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so in regards to that special meeting, I think pretty much most of those should have been included for our feedback. Now, you're gonna have a meeting with us not saying anything about anything. So you may wanna look into the contract that he signed too.
Would anyone else like to speak? So the next on our agenda would be to discuss and act upon the financial reports presented by the Board of Selectmen, including June and July reporting.
Want to make a motion to add it?
The, we can,
That's up to you, not
Yes.
it's your meeting.
yeah, that would be up to us to discuss. I would have no problem with that if the board wants to. I know we wanted to discuss a lot about the process that was handled.
Yes. Yeah, I think we should add it on and have full discussion. I mean, open transparency, I'm good with all discussion, if you are.
I'm not really my, but I can discuss whatever.
What's it gonna say, what's the motion?
It would be the motion to have the, to add for the trash plant for the public hearing for, it would be Wednesday, I'm not sure what the date, 26th, I believe.
Right, that's the information.
So basically, what you want, you need a motion to add discussion with possible action on the legal contract that the first selectman's already
We can't
signed.
vote on legal action because the Board of Selectmen did not approve the contract. The Board of Selectmen only voted to move this to a public hearing.
Yeah, so we'd be voting on
So we will
allowing
be
the public
overriding
hearing.
the Board of Selectmen if we vote on the contract.
So,
Right.
so are we going to vote
We can discuss
to
the
discuss
contract.
and give our blessing?
We can discuss the contract, we can discuss the hearing, move it to a public, the,
Because we need to vote to move it to the public hearing, correct?
So then make a motion.
You would make a motion for that?
how do you want the motion? We
Right,
can't-
how do you want it to
we can't-
say?
Yeah, so we wanted to say, because right now we're just motioning to add it to the
Add it to the
agenda.
agenda for discussion.
I would just put, a motion to add discussion of the trash incinerator plant and the public hearing.
Do you want the agenda for the special meeting, so you can read it from there?
Oh, sure, yeah, the way it's worded, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
So the way it's worded here is to act upon scheduling a town meeting to authorize the allocation of capital from the general fund for legal counsel regarding smart technologies matters.
No, we can't do that. How are we going to move it when the Board of Selectmen did not vote on the allocation of the funds?
So you just want to move it to approve the public hearing?
Yeah, that's what the Board of Selectmen voted on.
Yeah, because we should be doing what they were doing,
Right.
not anything
Right.
further. Trash plant, public hearing.
Are we open for discussion regarding the contract?
Well, we're gonna,
Well,
yeah,
then we
if
have
we
motion
motion
on the
discussion, we
agenda.
can discuss, yes.
Great.
So we have to figure out how to.
How to word it.
You wanna add it to, you wanna add it as like 5B after the reports, or you wanna do it as other? How do you wanna add it on, Madam Chair?
Yeah, let's do it right after our reporting from the town. I think that'd be good. So 5B, or 5.
See?
Yeah, because we really have June, July, so that would really be,
F I C.
yeah. motion to add to the agenda for discussion and action for trash plant public hearing. Would someone like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion as stated.
Okay, we have it.
I'll second.
Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay, motion carries. So 5C will be to add to the agenda for a discussion and action regarding the trash plant public hearing. Okay. Now, if we'd like to get into the financial reports, Board Selectmen.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you for being here while you're on your vacation also.
Of course, that's my job. With the new software, I'll be able to do it remotely. So, but anyway, so for the financial reporting, we are in the middle of year end, as well as our new software goes live on 9/1. So I gave you the financial information that we had for this current year, which is very preliminary. It's not even complete yet. Not all the revenue is posted, but I did highlight just a few things to see what stood out in the last 6 weeks, as well as I gave you what I have so far for the year end. We are right in line with forecast. Right now, you have revenues exactly where it said they were going to be, almost 1.5 or 1.4 million over. We forecasted to give 2 million back to the general fund. Those statements say 3 million. They still have 800,000 from the school, as well as them cleaning up the final funds. So year end is looking right on line, on target, if not better than what was forecasted. So I'll have more with that with the September reports. And we'll have more after my 9/1 live day. We're training all day on Tuesday with the new software. So it's very exciting right now, and it's a little busy in the office. But I will talk about revenue highlights. Uline did receive their certificate of occupancy, which results in additional $175,000 in additional tax monies that was not budgeted for this fiscal year. In addition, for next year, it equates to 1.4 million if we had the same mill rate. So almost 1 mil from Uline for next year.
Lisa, how will that impact revale?
Oh, revale isn't next year, revale's the year after. Because it's always the year after, like what you got billed now is on the 25 grand list.
No,
Based
I
upon assessment.
I recognize that. No, I
So
recognize
next year, it's not the revale year, it's the year after.
Okay.
Let's see, so right now I'm forecasting revenue and expenses to be just in line with budget. We're 6 weeks in. I don't want to make any determinations as of yet. I do want to let you know that we did receive a state grant of $9,416.09 to help cover early voting. So you'll see that as a credit line in there in the expense. As well as animal control. Our animal control department head is retired, and so while we're actively looking for a new department head, we signed a short-term, I'm going to highlight short-term, not permanent contract, with BCOG. Kevin and the chief of police have been working together on this, and they are actively interviewing probably next week, but I know applications are being taken right now.
How are we paying for that? Because it wasn't voted on and budgeted.
It's in contracted services under animal control, so the savings in salary should offset most of it. It depends on when we hire someone, and that'll be part of the line item. I'll just have to make a justification somewhere else. But it is in there under animal control, new line item, contracted services that doesn't have a budget right now.
And that's prepaid for the 3-month period?
That is, because it's all based on per capita. That's a CROG contract. There's no negotiation on that. For the dollar amount, I should say, per month.
I'm still
And that was
hung
for
up
the
on the
safety.
fact that it wasn't necessarily budgeted, and we've entered into a contract with NECOG now on that item, it's not budgeted.
That one item, but the total department can be fine. It's just like anything else when the department head leaves and you have other department members step up and they have overtime or whatever it may be. I mean, that's why we're highlighting it too.
I know, but we're signing contracts all over the place now that aren't budgeted. That's going to be a problem. I
But
think.
it's an emergency as well, because you can't have animal control not be taken care of. And so I know the chief was worried about it
So
and
what
what
was,
to do.
when was the retirement?
Her,
Or
it's
when-
in July.
When did she announce she was retiring?
In July, she was on FMLA, then came back, and then announced her retirement.
Before our July meeting?
We didn't have a July meeting.
That was the one, our last one.
We didn't have a July meeting. Last time we met was in July.
Okay.
So this would have been the first earliest time to tell.
I would just rather be aware that we're signing contracts for people that aren't budgeted, just so that we're aware of it. We are the Board of Finance, we're the ones that have to fund these things. And we have to answer to the residents in the end, as well as the first selectman.
And did she have an assistant? Wasn't there an assistant?
Two,
There was two, one left, and then the other one was a certified ACO.
And she's also left now.
Yeah, she did.
So we don't have all
So
three.
there's
No,
nobody.
so now we have
There's
zero.
there's nobody.
Yeah.
So are we filling that position too after we?
I will let
Sure,
the
they
first
have one.
selectman speak on that, I'm not as familiar.
Are there
It's all
applications? Yeah. Are there applications for that position too that you're looking at now?
So we're gonna seek to replace the full-time plus 2 part-times, Kevin, is that my understanding?
That's the plan at this point, yes.
Okay.
that's what we're budgeted for anyways.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for.
Why
So
do we
right
have a
now,
high turnover over there? Any idea?
I mean, so that happens when there's ever a department head that leaves. I mean, you gotta think about it, anywhere that you've ever worked, when someone leaves that's been there a long time, people have a tendency to change too.
You can add a little bit if you want.
Um,
The first person who was a part-timer, I gave resignation based on family issues. So July 1 was her last day. And the second person just gave the notification for
that's,
another job.
More to Sean, what Sean was stating. So the salary line item for the 3 animal control employees is going to cover the temporary 3-month contract.
I've got to wait and see, depends on what we hire. But that
So we
was
could
the
run
mindset.
over.
We could run over, but I don't know right now because we don't know who we're hiring and at what rate.
So going forward, I would just like to say, going forward, if there's contracts being entered like this, I follow an agreement not only with Sean, but with our town charter. The Board of Finance has to be made aware and approve entering into a contract. The Board of Selectmen doesn't have.
Emergency purchase,
I would just be happy to be made
Just-
aware.
just
I want to be made
communication.
aware, I want to follow the charter, I want procedural process.
Okay?
Well, would you agree that it was an emergency? I'm not arguing with you.
I don't know,
like
I don't know if it
communication,
was
you
an
guys
emer-
know.
I don't know if it was an emergency.
Well, you can't not have animal control, so I
My
know when
biggest-
I talked to the chief that it was an emergency.
My biggest problem is I found out about this on Facebook.
Oh, really?
As a Board of Finance
Right.
member, I shouldn't be finding out information like this on Facebook. That's what aggravated me with it.
Fair enough. Yeah, the current procurement rules that says, emergency purchases shall not be necessary to invite bids, emergency situation as determined by the first selectman. An emergency situation shall be defined as a situation which the department operation would be seriously compromised or the health, welfare, and safety of the general public is seriously threatened, which it would be without an ACO. A record shall be kept of such emergency purchase and which shall be available for public inspection. That's our current.
Which I agree, but there's enough of us, I think, that if we had been notified, we could have had an emergency special meeting and met the quorum and had this addressed to us, and we could have agreed or at least discussed it and then approved. So going forward, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, I mean, I wasn't hiding it, obviously, I created a whole new line item for it and outlined it in the actual financial presentation for you tonight.
And that's, me and Kevin have talked about that exact thing, is that asking for an emergency meeting from the Board of Finance. If we're not able to do it, then at least letting us know, but giving us the chance to have an emergency
Yeah,
meeting.
at least discussion and opportunity.
Because the chance of us having four of us to be able to do it is, normally we can. But he agreed to that, and then at absolute minimum, sending us an email so we're not.
Because our charter and state statute actually says that no one is allowed to enter into a contract in excess or over an appropriation without authority from the Board of Finance, and then depending on the amount, the town meeting. So again, we need to start following procedural process. I'm not trying to be the bad guy, just saying it would have been nice to be included, and again, not find out from Facebook.
Okay. And so that's pretty much it for the financials, but I did want to let you know, unless you have specific questions on all the projects that are going on in our office that will affect financials. We did have a new medical and dental rollout that actually, knock on wood, seemed to go pretty seamlessly. Everyone still had health insurance, dental insurance, no one lapsed. So that was good news. That started July 1st. year end. We've already started working with Clifton Larson. We are in their system uploading stuff. I know I've done a bunch and Courtney has started. So we expect the auditors to come out and actually visit us the first week of September. They said, do you want remote? I said, no, I'd like you here. So they are gonna actually come here for a day or two. They're gonna try to fit us in as soon as possible, because in that contract, as you saw, they're like, the bulk of it's gonna be December. But if Courtney and I get all of their stuff earlier, they're gonna try it earlier. In addition, rolling into the next one is my new accounting software live date is September 1st. That is a cloud-based software where the auditors will actually have online access as well. They will have their own user, view only, but the new software has drill down features, which won't be as good for this past year because I can't scan everything. But moving forward with the new software, we'll be scanning our invoices in, journal entry backups, everything is going to have drill down features to the PDFs. So it's going to be a huge save, implement on time, increase efficiencies. You know, bank recs won't take 4 days and 500 sheets of paper. It's just, I'm very, very excited. So we spent all day Tuesday training, we'll be training tomorrow. In addition, they're gonna put 3 years of history in that system. So AccountMate has been crashing on us lately too, which hasn't been very fun, because it's from 2019, the last update that it was done, and they wanted to charge us money to do an update. I said, no, thank you, we have new software coming in 6 weeks. Where were you 6 years ago? So that is exciting news for us. Next thing, pension management. We hired USI in our pension accounts. Right now, to manage people's pension, whether it's a direct deposits, they want copies of their, year-end reporting. They want to change their taxes, change their direct deposit. They want to find out how much they will receive if they were to retire this month and this year, this month and this year, this month and this year. Our office has to stop, which is fine. We always want to help the taxpayer, but it's not confidential. And it also puts the town at a liability. And I don't want to be responsible for the last 20 years of pension calculations. So we hired a USI consultant, and they're going to be managing that day to day. It's actually very customary. When I was in the town of Summers, this was what they used. It used to be Hooker and Holcomb. USI bought out Hooker and Holcomb. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that company. And this is what they do. They do pensions. This is their job. This is what they do for a living. So as of October 1st, that's that live day. All pension questions, regards, day-to-day management are all going to go to USI, okay? And they're going to have a phone number. We'll obviously be there for any backup with questions, but for the last 2 months, I've been uploading everyone's file that is either on the pension now or applicable to receive the pension in the future. So it's been very time-consuming, but it's going to be well worth it in the long run, and it'll save the town a lot of liability and exposure. Road paving, we've got the first preliminary report, so we're excited. We've got the grading of the roads. We've got fair, poor, good. I'm waiting for the interactive map. We have our meeting on Monday with the DPW, and we're going to try to get you guys a 5-year plan for the September meeting, and hopefully the interactive grid will be ready. And then if that be the case, it'll be 5 years, where everyone in town will know when their road is going to be paved at the current time, okay, and the rating thereof. So I'm sure there'll be tweets and people will have questions and why is my road not on there, but it's going to be all based on a third-party grading system outside of us.
Lisa, do you know yet when or how it's going to be published to the public?
It's a link.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
It'll
a
be
link
on the
for
town
Bailey.
website?
It'll be on the town website at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, right now I just have a PDF, a hard copy, and it's not like formatable to like program high to low and that kind of
That's
stuff.
why I asked if you knew that.
And it's every road, like from corner to corner, like it says Road A from this corner to this corner, and it puts a number of miles on it. And so when we do the paving codes, it'll match the square yards. So this way, if you've got section road A, sections A, B, C, D, but section A is already covered, we're not going to repave section A. We're going to do P, B, C, D. And we're also going to be looking at, when we do that, the lining of everything. I already talked to DPW as well as I talked to Will and the police. We are going to, at the same time we do the roads, relook at everything. Do the sidewalks need to be done? Do the roads need to be, the trees need to be trimmed? Are there any signs that need to be removed, added? So when we do a road, we're not just going in there blind paving and leaving, or making sure that the drainage is done right. And that's going to be responsible of the highway department, and they know that, and they're actually excited for it. So we want to get the roads good for our citizens.
So with the roads, are they doing anything with the bridges?
This is all roads.
Just roads, no bridges,
The
no
Beta
bridges?
quote has nothing to do with bridges. Bridges
Okay.
is something totally separate. That was a separate capital budget thing for the quote to get them assessed. Once we get the bridge assessments, then that's a new thing. This is,
When are we looking at that? Is that happening? Is that in the budget this year?
You did, it is in the budget this year, there's 40,000, I believe, was the
Yes,
amount.
40,000, it was in the capital item.
Okay. Is
But I
that
don't have
done this
that.
year?
An assessment will be done this fiscal year.
I don't want any more surprises like we have with Dow Road, which has no end in
Oh, I
sight.
agree, that's why we're doing the assessments.
We've known about Dow for so long and we kept kicking the can down the road. We gotta get these roads fixed and bridges fixed.
And this is the start to the roads, at least having this program, and then the bridges will come with that. So, ADP training,
Can I just say one thing about the bridges? So I just recently found out that the Connecticut DOT actually has like a calendar of when like the municipalities, like there's inspections on bridges. So there's like a calendar that the Connecticut DOT has on like inspection of bridges. So is our system gonna be able to follow in alignment with that calendar, or do we get that like how is that handled?
that's a completely different system altogether. I do not know what the DPW does for reviewing bridges. I just know that when we took on this road program for betas, this is strictly a pavement program, and that's what we first decided to tackle, because there was no,
But are we aware, or our highway department aware, or anything? Like there is like a calendar for the DOT for inspections of bridges?
Honestly, I don't know what you're talking about with that one, I can look into it, but there's different sized bridges which they do monitor on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So ours are based on a certain length and under, so the 28 that we have a listing of when the last time that they were actually assessed, what the condition was, and what does it qualify for funding, whether it's federal funding or state funding.
Right.
I'd be willing to share a copy of that with you, but basically, the state of Connecticut has it for multiple sized bridges, so we don't have access to that information.
Okay.
I can look into it though and report back for next meeting.
Yeah, I was just curious, because like I said, I just started briefly looking into it, so. I don't
We
a lot
have
of
to worry about our
information myself.
infrastructure. We gotta worry about that, we gotta worry about our sewer lines, and so we do get state funding for some of the stuff, like all the roads is gonna be done through state funding. So let me take a look at the bridges and I'll see what I come back. I'll report next month.
Yeah, how they do their scheduling, so that way the town may benefit from that.
Yeah, I actually, before I did this road paving program, I talked to Martin Heft, and he was telling me how he did it when he was first select person in Chester. And so I'm trying to mirror what he did there. Okay. So I'll find out about the bridges. And lastly, it's really been busy in our office. My assistant left. I was doing payroll for about 2 months. We just hired someone. And then I also had Katie from the police department come and help me on Monday. She came in Monday morning because she already had ADP experience. It's like, utilize what we have. So she came in for, I would think 6 weeks. And it was fantastic. So she came to help out. She was a great resource to have, and it was good teamwork. I've since hired Christine Harrah-Caley. She's the new assistant. She has experience. She was in the town of Andover prior to. She was the accountant that cleaned up their general fund that wasn't balanced for 3 years. And so she has municipal experience and is jumping right in. So I'm very excited to have her. She's a true assistant. She's taking on ADP. When I took over the ADP, nothing was done wrong, but nothing had been changed either in 20 years, like everything else. So there's other efficiencies, and we are not utilizing, I do not believe, ADP to the best of its ability and what we pay for. We pay about $52,000 a year for this service. And there's a lot more functions in there that I think we could be utilizing. So we are going through ADP, Chris is taking the lead on this, and we're going soup to nuts of how our infrastructure is set up. So for example, the health insurance. If you hired a new employee, there was like 20 different health insurance options to choose from. It's like, no, we have one plan, they pick which union, and then they pick or they single, choose your person or family plan. So we revamped all that. So it's just internal cleanup that needs to get done, a lot of it. So she's gonna be working on that. And then we'll see if there's any other maybe human resource aspect of the ADP system that we can utilize that we are not and paying for. So in the short time, we do have a lot going on, but I'm excited for all of it, so I did want to let you guys know what we're doing in our office. And do you want me to stop here? Because the next is policy updates and fund cleanup, and that's later on the agenda.
Yeah, we can wait for that.
Okay. Did anyone have any questions on the financial updates or updates in the office? Okay.
If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve both June and July reporting.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Thank you. Yep, next would be to discuss, actually, no, we're going to 5C now. For discussion and action on the trash plant public hearing.
Did we do this Board of Eds?
But that's 6, so we're 5C is,
I'm sorry.
I paused too to see what to make sure we're in the right order.
I have some questions regarding specifically the contract. In terms of what kind of due diligence was done?
We should let him
Okay.
give his,
Well,
and then we can ask all of our questions. Kevin, just 1 second.
Jason, could you pick up that pen? I just don't want anybody to trip and fall on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Most of it.
More pens?
All right, so your item for discussion and action tonight is for the review and discuss the trash facility representation agreement. Are we talking about the motion for, and I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
Is it the motion to approve to go to a town meeting? Just want to clarify.
It's a discussion and then it would be action
Okay.
to let it go to public hearing. So
All right.
we have both of them.
All right, so let's discuss, and again, this is timely issues that happen.
1 second.
Yeah,
Has the Board of Selectmen already approved to go to a public hearing on this?
yes,
They have?
yes.
Okay. All right, just making sure. that
Yeah,
we're not
and
missing those
so the
things.
public hearing is, at this point, is the 26th, with immediately following that public hearing section is a town meeting to vote.
I just wanted to make sure we weren't supposed to be sending it back to you at this
No,
point.
no.
Okay.
So it is a timely issue, obviously. The issue that triggered everything was the trash plant or Smart Technologies had put in a declaratory ruling request. Declaratory ruling is pretty much a short circuit to say, is it good or not, through the siting council. So we have to prepare immediately for that to come up with a defense. I had asked for a discussion with our town attorney and for a representation from Halloran and Sage. The chairperson for planning and zoning has suggested Halloran and Sage. She'd worked with them before for some things that happened for P&Z. When I reached out and had a conversation with the gentleman that she suggested, he said our specialist for siting council is Ann Catino. So I had a conversation with Ann Catino, asking about, a little bit of her background, what she's done, and then asked to, I had a meeting with, Teams meeting with her and also our current town attorney, so that we all were on the same page. Current town attorney is good, but he doesn't have that background with the siting council. We really need somebody strong in that area. And so we had a nice conversation about it. We talked about how we're going to be able to attack it, how we're going to be able to pull in specialists, how we're going to be able to work with the residents, how we're going to be able to work with different specialist groups, like Zero Coalition, for help and support for this. And I asked if first of all, was she available? She said she was. And so then I asked, would we be able to engage in a contract with you so that when it comes up immediately, you're able to go? So she has to do a lot of background, a lot of work, really a lot of work to be able to come up with how we're going to be able to defend. We do feel very confident about the fact that we'll be able to defend because of the declaratory ruling. They have to say, oh yeah, everything's good, and be able to present it to the public or the siting council to say, we have no problems here, right? We think there's lots of problems. And noting from last year when we had the budget process, we had a question on there, which was a non-binding advisory question. 93% of the public in the town of Plainfield said we don't want it. So that's the first part of it. So did I engage in a contract with her to say, can you start? Yes, I did. So the second part of that is, again, a timely issue, and I spoke with the chair about some of these issues. Timeliness. You mentioned earlier about the animal control and the timeliness of that. It was one day of the week, I think it was a Tuesday, that the final, I'm going to resign or retire, and the chief wrote out something to go to the press immediately next day. So we didn't have a lot of time to come in and have a meeting or anything, but I do understand that next time I can make sure
as those things occur, to keep in touch with the chair and you can disseminate information to everybody else.
Thank you.
And it'll be the same thing with this. We'd like to be able to come up with a good foot forward and say, how are we going to be able to gather that data with a professional who's noted with the siting council, and that's why I was reaching out to Ann. I had a conversation with, like I said, a Teams meeting with our attorney and with Ann. Ann will lead the charge. We have our town attorney, who's a good land record, land use attorney. He'll be the backup, being supportive and giving all the data and information. So that's what was done. The timeliness also is about how do you be able to put out there if you could have a town meeting, informational meeting and a town meeting, and still be able to follow within the guidelines of by the way, I was with the town clerk and our registrar of voters, working through these issues with our attorney. There is a requirement that you have to have that 10-day window to put out to the public. And then also the same thing comes up with a 10-day window to make sure that you have legal notice put out there. Our problems have always been the 10-day window. And I gotta say that our problems aren't being helped by some of the legislation because we are required to go into a print circulation, otherwise known as Norwich Bulletin. Norwich Bulletin has not been very helpful to us lately. Last few years, if you try putting something in, and I'll give you the great idea about that, you can put something out there really quick, and the Norwich Bulletin says, oh, we're not gonna be able to get it to you tomorrow. We'll put it in Friday, maybe Saturday. So now what happens is that 10-day window, we're in trouble. So we do that on a regular basis every year, trying to put our budgets together. Anyways, that's what happened. If you have any follow-up questions for that as to what happened, what can we do in the future to try to mitigate confusion of any type? But that's what I did. I wanted to make sure that the town was in a right position to do everything legally and not have anybody come back later on and say, oh, he didn't put the notice in 10 days ahead. And I think that's something we got to make sure we do right. In the past, when you have the example of the 26th is next Wednesday?
I believe so.
Yeah. So if we were to have a public informational meeting, I'm trying to get the players who are in here to support us to be here. We would talk about the information on what's going on with the siting council. We would answer questions from the public, and then we'd adjourn to a town vote. That town vote immediately, as you know in the town charter, it says in section 2.5, there's a section there, anything that's not in the budget and is over $50,000 requires you then to have the town meeting but go to a referendum. So we have to immediately put into the newspaper a referendum. I'm worried about that 10-day window as well. And we have done that before where we put that ahead to the press. Now, if something happens and they say, no, we're not going to spend the $250, we just pull it from the paper. So, again, that's what happened. And I, apologize if it's not timely enough, but I'm trying to put this together as quickly as possible and also as safely as possible with support from our attorneys.
Did you still have a
Yeah, I
question?
do. So when I read the contract, I noted the piece that in
Katina,
thank you, had written about any potential for conflict of interest, and that kind of was a red flag to me, so I did a little searching around. And I noticed that Halloran and Sage has actually represented OMG in the past. Not her specifically, but her firm.
But currently, no. Yep.
Currently, no, but my concern is are they going to be able to actually represent us appropriately when they've previously represented the very company that we're going up against? Do you understand?
I do understand, and a lot of the law terms are for the confidentiality or for the conflicts. They've already verified all of that. They don't have a conflict at this point.
So I just want to state, this is an area, Kevin, where I think you've had an uphill battle. Because from my research with the law offices of Pullman and Conley, they're a very big law firm. And they are like a spider web. They have tentacles everywhere. In legislation, they have it on task force. They have it with lobbying packs. So it'd be very hard pressed to find a law firm in the state of Connecticut that has not had some kind of prior dealing with Pullman and Conley. That's just my opinion on that from the research I've done. My concerns with Attorney Catino is not so much the representation, and I don't think it's a conflict of interest, it's just more of a concern that she was on a joint task force for Brownsville remediation, Attorney Gregory, and then Attorney Rothman, who's actually the attorney representing O&G and Smart Technologies. So I just want to make sure if we contract with this law firm and we move forward with it, we're not going to run into in a month, are they going to come back and say, well, now we found a conflict and we're going to drop you? So what's our safeguard to that? Have you
I
discussed
can
that?
have her review that and write a letter for you, but there is no, at this point, she's going to be hired by us, therefore there should not be any conflict.
Okay. And no conflict on our end with our prior use of Pullman and Conley, correct? As the
We've used many
intervener?
different,
Right.
yeah.
See what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
well, this is why I said.
Yeah, but this is a hiring for a
It's hard to,
specific
you know, in
issue.
Connecticut, we're not like this huge state where it's like,
Yep.
the law, there's only so many major law firms and they all interact with each other, so.
Pullman and Common was our taxes.
Right.
Okay.
And they were also the bonding agent on a $4 million
Yes.
bond we had, so. That's why I want to make sure that we don't have a conflict as being the intervener when we've used their services.
we do not.
So,
And by the way, the intervener paperwork was already turned in by Rich Cody, and he got Ann up to speed on what's going on. So they are working together already to figure out what their steps are going to be.
And now,
And by the way, you said something which is a phrase I think is very important, which is you said uphill battle. And for everybody in this room or listening in the future to understand, it is a huge uphill battle. We are fighting groups that have endless money. We are fighting groups that have knowledge and also expertise, which is why Ann is looking for specialists to be able to come in and speak on our behalf. So it is an uphill battle. And for people, you know, look, we don't want it, that's number one. But what happens if? Because we have to look at the reality of what might happen.
and the other thing is, Kevin, is, and I don't know, like I said, because I know there's preliminary discussions with the attorney, probably with you and Ann, but has there been any conversation, or can there potentially be any conversation going forward of if we hire them on, them looking into any conflicts of interest with the siting council, with O&G Industries, or Pullman and Conley attorneys? Because I found something interesting that with the wood burning plant, when it came in, it had to go through siting council review, and there was actually recusement of one of the siting council members because there was a potential appearance of conflict, I guess. So I just want to make sure that that doesn't happen now with the members of the siting council. So that might be something we may want to request is can we, because I will tell you I did send a formal freedom of information request to the siting council asking if they can potentially look at any, you know, as a resident, any conflicts. So it might be prudent that our legal.
I think that's one of the things they do on a regular basis anyway, especially with the siting council.
If you could just ask, that would be appreciated.
So are they currently working for us?
They are hired to work for us, yes.
Do we currently owe them money?
No. Which could soon change.
That's fine, I just want to make sure that we
Yeah,
don't owe
there's
them
no
money
billing at this
before
point.
before we
She
do this
is
meeting.
aware of what's going on based off that joint meeting we had with Rich.
Okay, I just want to make sure that they're not currently working and then have the taxpayers say, no, we're not going to do it. And
We thought about that as well. The issue is we have legal in our budget. And for the few hours, if that happens, if they say, no, we're not going to pay for the 250, or we don't want to go after this at all, we can use some of that money from legal. But we need to get going. We really did.
Is that 250 just a top starting amount? Oh, no, I know it's going to be way above that, but I'm not just.
I had no idea.
Right.
I get it,
You'd be
yeah.
looking at, and I'll just throw it out there, you'd be looking at more than $2 or $3 million if you wanted to go all
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
The question is, who's going to blink?
Yeah.
Is it going to be Smart Technologies? Is it going to be the town of Plainfield saying, with advice from our finance director, we don't have any more money? You know, it has to go somewhere, but we have to at least start. And that's why I was looking at the number 250 as a reasonable starting point. The problem is going to be, we may have to come back to these meetings again and again for another 250 or whatever we decide. If it's stalled out, what do we do?
Are they is
Halloran Sage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about H&S? Are they going to give us periodic updates?
We will be requesting out where we are, and we'll get that also from Rich,
Okay.
because they're working together.
Now, will Ann be here for the?
I'm trying to get her here, I'm trying to get Rich here as well, we'll see what happens. I know there's some of the groups, Coalition Zero, Zero Waste, things like that, they'd like to go here. They thought we would be able to hybrid, but I'm having a problem of getting a hybrid going up here. But at least we'll try to get some people here. If they're not gonna be here, they'll have letters that have written as to explain where they stand and what their points are. One of the best parts that I thought in the last few weeks when we've been talking is that one of the groups, Save the Coast, I think it is, I'm not positive the name, but anyways, they were talking about how to write a letter. Anybody can write a letter saying we don't want it. The letter should be saying things like, we don't want it and why. Is it an issue for you because it's a environmental issue so it's coming out of the stack? You're concerned with PFAS, are you concerned with the anaerobic digester and what it's actually producing? Are you concerned with the ash? Are you concerned with the water table all around it? All those things are on the table, but they were going to see if they can help us out by drafting, like I guess you call them, generic letters, and then those people can send those letters in. You put your name to it and add on what you want to, and then send them in.
My only major concern right now is we're looking to start with this. And you've also got several other large projects that we're going to be discussing in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to cost a lot of money. We're going to draw that fund balance down very fast, so we have to be careful when we keep that in mind.
And in the meantime, I'm also looking for grant money for those other items.
So that's my concern is, at some point we got to say, okay, we got to pull our spending back again.
That's what I was mentioning before. I think it's an idea of we have to keep track of it and at the monthly meetings to give us an idea of where we stand.
We might need to table some items in the future, so keep the projects off, unfortunately.
Is there any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Kevin, I'll read this out, but make sure that the motion is correct for it. But the motion would be to approve the town informational meeting on August 26th regarding the representation for Smart Technologies trash plant.
Sounds right.
Because we're approving the
And
town.
also the town meeting afterwards.
Okay, so we have to add both of those to it.
I don't think we have to talk about the referendum at this point, but it's something we really need to probably do on the, at the Board of Selectmen's meeting. If we were to pass through the town meeting and they vote to approve that, we still have to set the referendum date, and I would say sometime early September 3rd maybe to do that. It gives us that window. We have to really.
What is our, like, cutoff?
So
What's our timeframe?
I'm really confused right now, so this is just my analytical brain is like kicking in, so we need to,
Need a timeline.
you gotta pacify me here on this one, Kevin, otherwise I'm gonna, honestly, I'm gonna be a pain in the neck. I'm gonna tell you that right now, so let's clarify it now. We're going, okay, so the Board of Selectmen the other night voted for the informational meeting,
And also it's the meeting immediately following for the
for
vote.
the town meeting vote, okay.
If you pull up your calendars.
But they never really voted on the contract, correct?
There's a technicality with the contract. I know you said something about all contracts should go through. That's not exactly true. Otherwise, every contract that we would do, including, we don't have Meals on Wheels anymore. We have Comfort.
But this is for money being pulled out of our general fund that we're looking for in the 250,000.
For additional monies outside of, yes.
So that's why I'm saying the Board of, so is there any way you can add that to your Monday night meeting? I mean, it's kind of like the horse has already been let out because you already entered into the contract anyway, so.
Chase the horse.
Have them approve the contract on Monday?
Well, they have to vote for it to send it off to us.
I'll check with the attorney on that as well.
Yeah, please check. That's what I'm saying, like, see, this is where procedural process gets to be a pain in the neck. I just want to make sure everything is done right, all Ts and Is crossed and dotted on this one, because we want to make sure with our hiring process of this attorney, we do it right, because we don't want to give the opposition anything, Kevin.
Mm-hmm. That would include the date for a referendum.
That on Monday you'd be voting for that?
Well, hypothetically, if we vote for a date for a referendum based on the passage of the vote on that night, so let's say the 26th we vote. The 27th, we asked to go to the Norwich Bulletin to put it in the paper. If we're lucky, it gets in on the 29th. It's not time for, it has to be, charter says when we adjourn from a town meeting that has to go to referendum, we have between 7 and 14 days. So the 3rd isn't gonna work.
So, and here's my other thought too, doesn't that declaratory piece, it's 30 days, is it 30 days? So that was actually August the 7th, so we only happened to, I believe,
Yep.
it was August the 7th, that was brought before the siting council, which means that we only have until September 7th.
To move forward.
In order, yeah,
I
and
would,
to tell them that we oppose this.
so you have a motion that you have for approving to go forward to the town meeting?
Yep.
Okay,
And then I added at the end of what I had read to you, I added, and for the town meeting to vote for the 250,000 for the representation.
can I ask you to amend to one more thing?
Yeah,
Pending the outcome of that vote, to schedule the town, the referendum for September 3rd?
Yes.
Because that way you've got it all covered.
Yeah, I support that.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely,
Yes.
yep.
Mike, I got one more question for you. This informational meeting, is it a Board of Selectmen?
Board of Selectmen informational meeting to the public.
So we're just giving you blessing from this board to say, okay, go ahead, do what you're gonna do.
I mean, you know now that obviously the 250 would have to be figured out when we have the finance director find the line for it, if approved.
It would be an appropriation of fund balance, and then we would add it as we would any other.
Right.
Can you reread that sentence of the amendment? Just so I'm gonna read
You
it
got
all
it.
together. Also pending.
If the town meeting approves the spending of the $250,000 to schedule a referendum on September 3rd, all-day referendum here at the town hall from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah, because then we're still in compliance before,
Exactly.
because it's an if.
And we're still within our, with that allotted time.
It's the timeline, it's the problem.
And Ann needs to be aware that at, 8:01, when the polls close, she's gotta.
Yep.
But what I'm thinking is that if you put on to vote Board of Selectmen Monday night, the actual 250 to pass it to the Board of Finance, Tuesday night, we could make an amendment to the agenda.
Yes, we already have to amend that.
We could then
Can we go back to that
discuss
calendar?
it and possibly vote yes on it, because we're not preempting, we're gonna do anything, everybody has to vote.
Again, with your motion tonight, if you just put pending,
Yep.
then you're covered.
Okay.
You don't have to do any more actions for scheduling a meeting. But it allows us to prepare the document to get it ready to go to the press. Again, we're still looking at that calendar. If on the 26th, everything is voted on, we're still not gonna make the press. Like I said before, I think it's prudent to take the time to actually put it into the press as soon as possible. You can always pull it out.
So what are you suggesting, we do that tonight?
Yes, that's why I said the portion of, you would say, it included that last statement of pending the outcome of the vote on the 26th from the town meeting to schedule the September 3rd referendum.
And would the referendum be to use fund balance?
To use the fund balance. The same question you have on that night.
Appropriate 250,000 from the fund balance.
So, can I ask another question?
You already asked one.
I know, I got another one. So you keep saying we're going to Norwich, well, can we go to the Turnpike Buyer?
Nope.
Is that not acceptable?
Not
Because
acceptable.
I see stuff in there.
Not
from
acceptable.
planning
And
and
we talked
zoning.
about this multiple times.
What about the day? You can't go to the day
You
either?
could, but they still have the same issue.
Is it run by the same publishing company?
No, but it's the same issue. They don't know when they'll be able to actually put an ad in the paper. That's the problem. We've had this discussion for like 3 or 4 years now.
I know, I think we.
Our legislators keep on asking us to give them ideas, and we give them this, unfortunately, it has failed every time. We would like to no longer go to circulation press, then we can go to the Turnpike Buyer. If we can stop that stuff about the circulation press, unfortunately, you have a lot of lobbyists who are working for the press, and that's why we never get it passed. But that's what's going on, just so you know. Sean, it would save us money. You know how much it costs to go to the Norwich Bulletin?
Oh, I know, it saves us money and it's a lot easier to get into the Turnpike Buyer.
I honestly don't think anybody in this room or 93% of the voters of this town are really gonna care how we do this, but.
Yeah, but
Here's what I
smart
said.
technology will care.
Exactly, but for legal purposes,
Mhm.
right? Is pending acceptable, Kevin?
Yes, we've done that before.
Okay.
Would you allay our fears by asking the attorney? our attorney?
Absolutely. Yep.
Just,
I
because
already
I
have it
don't want
written
to
here.
leave, I don't
I already have it
want
written here based on your motion to
Fabulous.
show them the motion, then
Yeah, I don't want to leave even that much of a door
Not only
open
give
to
it to
smart
them,
technologies.
not only give it to them, but see if you can put something in writing, so that way we're all, and G can.
well, if I can get the minutes as soon as possible. Not to put you on the spot, but anyways, if we can get that, then he can have the actual minutes that show what's going on. And I will give him a call as well, just to verify.
So we have that motion written out.
Right, it's the whole writing.
Is that a page? Is the motion a whole page?
That's writing, yeah, it's writing.
Four-pronged motion.
Paragraph
This is the
four.
longest motion I've had so far, yeah.
Do you need paper?
Oh, no, okay,
She's
she's
got
good.
it, yeah, she's
I'm actually sitting right here. I know what you gave me.
Well, wait a minute. Kevin is ex officio, so he could technically read the motion, he just can't do the vote. So maybe we should give the paragraph.
Oh, yeah.
There's also the zillion.
Yeah.
Coming off of,
I just ran out of room, so I wanted to make sure. I
Actually,
got all the
you
right
took that off there, so that's really what's gonna read from.
Yeah, I think it belonged on this week's meeting. Move on.
We would need a timeline.
Okay, we'll see. Back.
See if it's right.
Just love seeing everybody working together.
Okay, so the motion would be to motion to approve a town informational meeting on August 26th regarding the representation for smart technologies trash plan.
Against. Wouldn't, we're not representation,
For, again, just put against.
I would say against, yeah, because we're not
In
representing
opposition.
smart, in opposition, yeah.
In opposition.
Position of, yeah.
Okay. So motion to approve a town informational meeting on August 26th regarding representation in opposition of smart technologies trash plant. And also for the town, vote same night for $250,000 from the fund balance for this representation. Also pending approval by the town on August 26th meeting to schedule an all-day town referendum.
On September 3rd.
On September.
Town hall.
Yeah, on September 3rd.
And make
See,
sure-
I told you, you should have had it read it.
And make sure it says appropriation.
But you want it to say pending.
Okay, Lisa, do you want to come do this?
It does.
The appropriation of the, so repeat that again on the, okay.
Because it's not from our existing budget, you're asking for the town
Extra.
to approve an additional $250,000 out of fund.
And Stephanie, if you want to reread that all over again.
Yep, I will, because we want to make sure we got it right. Okay, so motion to approve the town informational meeting on August 26th regarding representation in opposition of smart technologies trash plant.
Opposition to. Sorry. My English brain.
Oh, you're a math.
And also for the town vote, same night for $250,000. Do I put appropriation there also?
To be appropriated from fund balance. Or. You gotta stick with the same verb.
Right. Okay, to vote same night for $250,000 to be appropriated from the fund balance for this representation. Also pending approval by the town on August 26th meeting to schedule an all-day town referendum on September 3rd at Town Hall for an appropriation of $250,000 from the fund balance.
And he said from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
I'll make that motion. As read.
That's right. I was gonna say it.
And then if you want, I can give you this whole thing, so you can have it.
All right, so she'll motion.
I made
Okay,
the
you
motion.
made the motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll raise both hands on that.
Thank you all for the work in putting that together. This is really important for our town.
Just please keep us aware of things like this,
Yeah.
so we're not, I don't want to be blindsided by Facebook or the residents anymore, that's all, that's my only, I don't want to be
So I
blindsided.
hope you understand that I did have a conversation,
Okay.
and I will do that.
Thank you.
It just was difficult, especially with animal control, it's like bang, bang. We had resignations, we had retirements, it just happened very quickly. As did the declaratory ruling, by the way, when that hit, that's when you guys started.
And here's an interesting piece on that declaratory ruling. I've been back and forth with various representatives of the town of Plainfield, and not one of them knew about it until I brought it up.
You talking state level?
Yeah.
Are we comfortable to move on?
Yes.
Okay. So, next, did you discuss and act upon financial reports presented by the Board of Education for June and July?
All right, so in my report, a lot of things will actually mirror what Lisa and Kevin have both mentioned. Right now is the time where we are closing out our fiscal year 26. We have state reporting that we have to have completed by September 1st. We have grant expenditure reports that are due to the state by September 1st. So we are right on track getting those reports completed. Our holdup right now is really our open purchase orders from last fiscal year, completing those orders. At the end of June, we did have some funds available from the savings and health insurance that we were able to complete capital improvement projects. So we do still have quite a few projects that are still in the works. We did a lot of AC and HVAC repairs in 3 of our buildings. We did a lot of different grounds repairs. We just tried to make sure that we used those funds appropriately with the Board of Education's approval. So at that meeting, we did submit a list to the Board of Education, and we were able to complete those. We're hoping to have everything completed by September 1st. There are still a couple that are in the works. Our Shepherd Hill Library AC unit is still in the process of being ordered and repaired, so we're hoping that will be completed by September 1st. Another one is our stair tread replacements at our Central Middle School. Those were unordered, so again, a lot of those items are on back order or have 6 to 8 weeks lead shipping time, so we are right on the cusp of trying to close out our fiscal year and working with the vendors to make sure that the work is getting done.
So when exactly would you put the stair treads in? They're not even here yet, school's starting.
So they've been working with the vendor to hopefully do it on the weekend before school starts. If not, then they'll have to schedule it on a break. They have to order 75% of the quote is materials alone. So they were able to get the orders placed and the items in. They're just looking to coordinate with staff coming back, students coming back. We're doing our best to get the buildings as ready as possible before school starts, but understanding that sometimes with shipping times and working with contracted vendors, it doesn't all happen before that first day of school. But I will give a compliment to our facilities director, Mr. Paul Kadelsky. He has been wonderful trying to coordinate all the different projects that we had going on in all 5 of our buildings. Switching a little bit to the facility side, we did have 2 events on our property. We had the Shepherd Hill the fireworks event put on in coordination with the recreation department. That went extremely well. And then we also had our back to school bash last Thursday at our high school property. We were delighted to have some coordination with the town to help us get the properties ready and beautiful for those events, so we really appreciated that. And I think both events went off really well. There was a lot of good feedback, and we are excited to hopefully get it on the schedule for next year already. So looking at the object summary report from last fiscal year, you'll notice how I included all the objects that ended the fiscal year over budget. A lot of the ones we talked about all year, so our contracted speech services, our unemployment line, our substitutes that we were covering using the vacant positions that haven't been hired. None of it was a huge surprise. Everything kind of landed exactly where we thought it would at the end. The biggest thing was that we were able to complete capital improvement projects. So you'll notice that that line was over budget because we were able to do so much for our buildings.
This is a double question, probably for Lisa and you both. I'm just looking at the SRO reimbursement. Is that a prepayment for 26-27, or is that from 25-26?
It's billed quarterly each year, which is a new amount of the and
So what's the 129,239 credit
Where are you
balance
looking
in
at?
SRO reimbursement?
On ours?
Yeah.
The sheet you're looking at?
Yeah.
That's budget for this coming year.
Ah, okay, sorry.
You're welcome.
Never mind.
So, closing out current fiscal year and then starting our new fiscal year, we do have, hearing what Kevin said, a lot of resignations, a lot of retirements. Some people choose to wait until August to let us know. So as much as we have completed the budget and uploaded it into our accounting system, we still have some shifting in salaries that will eventually happen. Hopefully, will be finalized before school starts, but we have a couple of grade level teaching positions open. We still have a speech and language position open. We just hired our preschool teacher. So depending on where we budget middle step, depending on where we hire, depending on what applicants we have, they can either be hired at a higher step or a lower step. So we're still waiting for everything to kind of, the hiring to be completed before next Thursday to know exactly where we stand salary-wise. And then lastly, for our health insurance, I did have on my report that we did reconcile to June, and then I actually included in your report, we did receive July information before I was able to email you. So on the issue report, we are, with the extra contribution that was made, we are at our 8% target, which is where we're supposed to be right now. So that runoff period will go all the way through June. So we'll still be getting banking reports all the way for this next fiscal year for runoff claims. And then as Lisa had mentioned, we've had great feedback from our employees regarding the new health insurance. Only a couple small hiccups with some prescriptions or some medications, but we were very thankful that everyone got their ID cards and there weren't any major issues with health insurance coverage.
So there's nothing else that has to go into that reserve, we're done?
No, so we still have to monitor depending on how many claims we have coming out, credits coming in, refunds. It is still very much a work in progress, but we get the banking reports every month to see where we are. So by the 10th of the next month, we get the banking reports, and then we just have to maintain a 8% target reserve through October 1st. And then if at any point we do have more claims come in and maybe our reserve is running low, we could be asked to make an additional contribution, or we could be in the positive where we will be able to request the money back at the end of this next fiscal year.
I mean, and it's all for last year's expenses. So I mean, I could do an accrual for $100 grand to hold just to be safe so it doesn't affect this year, but I'm not doing that until I'm done with it.
But is that on your agenda?
It
Put
depends,
that
I want to
in.
see where everything falls. It's not mandatory right now because we're at our threshold.
I think that's mainly it, unless there's any specific questions on the object summary report. In your packet, you do have the non-lapsing account report. We did have to report to the Connecticut State Department of Education our non-lapsing account report. So for last fiscal year, we had to report our account balance, our deposits, our expenditures, what board minutes included the approval for transfers, for expenditures. So that was given to the CSDE and accepted on July 30th.
So I got a question for both of you, not on necessarily this month's statements or last month's. You mentioned we've started downloading stuff for the audit. Everything's going good to this point, hopefully.
Yeah, unfortunately, on my end, a lot of my reports can't be pulled until September 2nd. So I've uploaded a couple documents.
You put some of them in, we're starting.
Yes, we've started, we've made contact, we have access to the portal. I've uploaded like union agreements and just documents that I have access to now. But 90% of my work starts on September 2nd.
So my goal, or what I'd like to set a goal for you guys is, I don't want extensions.
Well, this year is different with the contract. We're going to try not to. It won't get hold up on our side.
Okay.
She put it in her contract CLA, and and that was you.
Yeah,
One of
it
you
was,
found it, that is just, actually you found it.
Yep.
That they were not originally planning on looking at it until December. But that was with the purpose of our older county software and having to physically be here. I already have them scheduled to be here in September. I know her date is set, I know my live date is September 1st. And I'm still got some fund cleanup to do, the other funds, not so much here, but we're well ahead of the game, where they have a lot of information from the town already.
That's fine, that's what I want to try to make sure, do our best to try to get as close. I really don't want to, I hate having that.
Yeah, we don't want to do it either.
So-
But there is an online portal, and we're giving the information to an online portal. And as I said, once we go live 9/1, the auditors can view our information in between or at any point in time. That's the beauty of the new software.
Thank you very much for what you're doing. You said, you just like the goal of trying to do it extensions.
Well, the new software, I also want to go the next step with her and go back to us reconciling all the funds.
no other questions? Looking for a motion to approve the financial reports presented by the Board of Education for June and July.
I'll move.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, the next on our agenda is to discuss and act upon the roles and the responsibilities of the capital governance framework, starting with the capital fund policy and the procurement policy.
So I know we've been going back and forth with these for a while, and that's good. That's what we want. We want the communication, we want to dot our i's and cross our t's. But I also included in this packet all the policies that have already been approved by the Board of Selectmen for full transparency, so you guys can see them and know what they are. We have the town road fund policy that once the Board of Selectmen approved, but I will come to you for appropriations after we do our fund cleanup. So that's the first one.
Lisa, a question about the fund, and I actually wrote that down. So with the funds cleanup,
Yeah.
will that go into like just a pot and then be reallocated out to these different policies
Well,
that
what
you're
happens
asking
is that
for?
each one of these funds will have, in corporations, you're used to a balance sheet and an income statement. You'll have both for every one of these funds. And that's the idea. So you can see with the town road, the funds that come in is what you appropriated from our budget that we get for state money or any other funds. And you're gonna see that. You're gonna see the interest income there. You're gonna see anything that goes in there separately as revenue and expenses. And it's all for roads,
By fund?
by fund.
Okay. So when you're looking at just changing the names on some of these, or not, let's just say this, almost $600,000 for the Plainfield.
Yep, medical.
Yep. How is that gonna be reallocated? Are you
Well-
splitting that money between different new
Well, no,
funds?
if you look at this, I have everything being closed out in the old names and everything, and put all that to the general fund.
Oh,
So the balances would be zero,
okay.
okay? I want to start fresh.
Are any of those funds restricted?
No, none whatsoever. They're all included in our unrestricted general fund.
The
and
Plainfield medical one, doesn't have
it's
restrictions
not
on it?
restricted. When they voted on that, there was no restriction. I put copies of the minutes in and I emailed them to you guys, as well as the attorney and the auditor saw it.
Did you want to say something?
Back in January 2008, if you want to take a look at the minutes for the Board of Selectmen or town meeting, that's exactly what had happened. They thought that they were going to allocate it towards
Open space or something, there was something that had to
possible
go.
use in the future for a
It just
library.
says future use, I did keep.
But they never put down what the future use was,
Okay.
therefore it's not.
No, I
a
just-
restricted account.
My concern was, I know we had an open space fund.
That's
The money's restricted to go there, I didn't know if any of these were part of that.
No,
That's why I
No,
was
Space
hold on a
fund is
second.
totally different.
And you actually have the balance of that in your account. I gave you the balances,
Yep.
screenshots of every single bank account.
So that's more or less, Sean, when we met in June, when we discussed all of this. Remember, we requested having more input from the attorney?
Yep.
That was part of it, was restricted, was it allocated? Because I wasn't comfortable moving anything until the diligence was done to find out and confirm that we could legally move that money.
Yeah. And we did get that.
We did that,
Confirmation.
yes, we did.
Yeah, we got
I just
all
like to
of
ask questions again.
Absolutely.
You can ask as many as you want, because, the whole idea of doing these policies isn't to, make everyone, pull their hair out. The idea is, I know eventually we're gonna wanna go to bond. Okay, we all know that. And to get a better bond rating, if we have financial policies in place, we look better. And never mind, I prefer them because to me, I'd rather have the organization. I want the communication and I want the organization. So if it takes time to do these, it takes time. But the whole idea is to better us as a town as a whole. So, all right, so I made it to town road aid, okay. That was approved on May 5th. Then there was the capital improvement, which was June 22nd. That pretty much defines that it's like 5 years or $5,000 is really what that does. Then we have the purchase and corporate credit card policy. That's due to all of the recent uproar in the state. And so every employee signed off that has a credit card that they will be responsible for, they will follow any of the rules, and that they can be terminated or repercussions or paid back. So it just was a sign off on that. So we wanted to make sure, because we didn't have that policy. So those are the three that have been approved by the Board of Selectmen. That was July 13th. So the pending ones are procurement policy, as well as the capital fund policy. We've done a lot of work, non-recurring we are not going to use. So we sent that email. Though it was named, we have bank accounts named capital non-recurring, though we have non-recurring mentioned in our charter, though we have non-recurring in meeting minutes, there has never been a legal vote to call it a non-recurring fund. So we'll call it a capital fund. So thank you, we did it. Those are our two things.
When I got that follow-up email, I was like, all this time.
But we did it. It's seamless.
We got there.
We got there, okay? We got there.
We got there, we still like each other.
And you know what? If anyone questions why did we do it, we have a plethora of emails and backups to go along with it. So life is good.
Yeah.
As I said, there's no rush to do these. We want to do it right because we want to set the town up right. The town is growing hand over fist, guys. I mean, it's building apart. It's crazy. So, but anyway, so the
So we're
procurement
just gonna
policy,
leave it capital fund. Like,
Capital
okay,
fund
we don't have
policy.
to do anything
period,
more.
end of story.
It's done. It's done, guys.
So it's a capital fund policy, and then the procurement policy, whatever levels, but it does say in the charter that you guys have to determine the sealed bid amount. An RFP and a sealed bid are different. So just so you guys know, many people put them all together. An RFP is just a request for proposal, RFQ, or request for quote, and you can just get those. But a sealed bid is when it's sealed, you can't open it all at once, we do it in a public place. Right now, I did bring copies of our current procurement policy that was updated in 2023. So this way, if anyone wanted to look for comparison. And I did try to mirror what the charter revision was doing with that 30,000 threshold. So annually, you guys have to determine what you want the RFP amount to be. So I really can't do the procurement policy in full until you guys set the annual RFP amount. And then we can go from there.
Now, would you like us to set an annual RFP amount tonight?
If possible, because that's what's holding up the policy from moving forward. So the Board of Selectmen keeps sending it back to you
And that
because,
we are obligated to do. So, yeah.
and I don't know if it's been done since 2023 or, I don't know.
Before that, it went from 7,500 to 10,000. That's the full numbers, I would say.
And
So what are you thinking for a ceiling right now?
30,000 is what the charter revision committee was suggesting.
And you have on here 50.
That's what I did before the charter revision committee, because I wanted to keep, I didn't want to keep changing it, so then you guys would think, why did you change it all the time? So,
No, that's for sealed bid, right?
yep, sealed bid.
You're talking RFP, isn't that? We're on this
That's different.
Page straight? Okay.
But it supersedes it. If you have a sealed bid of 30,000, that automatically takes that 50,000 down to 30,000.
So here's my question. We have to wait until November because what's going on the charter revision is going onto the ballot in November.
But that's charter. This
No.
is,
That's totally separate from what
Is
they're
it?
doing.
yeah, they did
Yeah, we have
30,000 for a grant match.
We're required annually to set the bid amount.
Okay.
That's part of
Okay.
our duty. So,
Annually.
It could stay the
Yes.
same,
Okay.
it could be modified.
Right.
Just to keep that thought of the charter revision, we have been working with 1984 numbers for many years, and includes two times times we went out to try revision to change the ones in 2.5, D, B, and D, to say instead of 10,000, 50,000, what's a more reasonable number for today's numbers?
And those have all failed?
It failed.
They've all failed. So the citizens are telling us that's too much.
Well, they're thinking it's an appropriation. That's the difference. We're not asking for changing an appropriation. This is for budgeted funds. This is for us to operate as a town hall. So we have a line item, construction, whatever it may be for X dollar amounts, police to even do their work, and if it falls, this is the guidelines for budgeted line items. This is not appropriations. This is not for outside the general fund expenditures. And I think that's what confuses people. I think that's why it was getting voted down, because they were thinking it was appropriation. This is not appropriation. This is funds already allocated in our existing budget.
Which still have to be voted on.
So it's currently 10, you want to go to 50, then
No,
30.
30.
This originally had 50, but as I said, I didn't want to keep changing it. And that's why I have it highlighted.
So we would be looking for a motion to change the RFP amount.
No, competitive sealed bid amount.
Sealed bid.
hang on a second. Does the Board of Ed follow policy like this? What's your number? You follow this one.
Yeah, the charter says that the Board of Ed and the Board of Selectmen could create their own procurement policy, but you guys have to set the sealed bid amounts.
Yeah, we do have a board of education procurement policy, but we follow the town charter as far as our.
So whatever we set applies for the seal bidding on the Board of Education as well? Okay.
Yes.
That's good to know, thank you, Gordon.
So we wanted a 30,000 competitive sealed bidding.
Or 20.
You know how much work it is to get a sealed bid, and the
Yeah.
work that the companies go into getting all these, and then the record retention of all these beautiful pamphlets and
Yeah.
trees that are killed and glossy paper, and it's,
I can say from sitting in the charter division, we've had many a discussion about that amount. I have another member sitting right there, so you can back me up on this, and we've talked about it almost ad nauseum. Yeah, I think we came up with the 30,000 as a really good compromise. It's not too low, it's not too high, so I think.
we can see how it goes, and you
Yeah.
can change it. That's the beauty, you guys can change
I
it.
feel like that we can take it back to 20 next year.
Yeah.
So we'll try it at 30, and I can update this policy for parts B and C and change it all to 30,000.
So
With your
none would be
approval.
purchases over 50 up to 30?
Yep.
Yep.
And purchases over 30. And then the 30 in competitive sealed bidding. And then it also mirrors page 2, the RFPs for 30 grand for specialty services. So everything would be set at 30.
Okay, so we'd be looking for a motion for that then.
Has the Board of Selectmen approved this yet? Or do they have to wait for us to do this?
We
before
don't, they don't do that, we do,
No, I meant the
the policy.
policy.
They've been waiting for us.
They're waiting for us to approve the
Then
amount.
once you approve the RFP amount, then I'll update it, and then I send it back to them, and then they can approve it, because it's their procurement policy. But they didn't want to approve it until you
They
were
draft
draft.
the policy, Sean, we just set the.
You said that number, okay?
Yep.
And we revisit that number every year, correct?
Yes,
If we put it on our agenda.
yes. What month would you like to pick?
Is this a good month for us to be doing that, or should we be
Well,
doing
you
this?
know what, once we finally hopefully get the next one approved, we can go back to our meetings, our bylaw meetings, and we can add it there.
Then that's the month, just to set.
Works for me.
Yep, agreed.
But if the Board of Finance has a recommendation on one month they would like to do that, I would be willing to hear that so we can.
Yeah, when you go to your
Right.
Yep.
subcommittee.
I'm
Something the finance director, a month you recommend.
I'd say let's start with 30 and see where we go.
No, I mean a month.
No,
I
Oh, a
what
month?
annually we should use.
Well, it's slower, and we want to make sure we match it up. This timeframe works, probably September or October,
Or do we
before
do
the
it-
budget process.
Or do we do it with the budget?
Well, because the budget starts July 1st, you want to do it prior to, like
Yeah,
March of
prior
every
to, I'll
year?
tell you why it would make sense prior to. You put all your RFPs together as soon as the budget passes and get it ready for July 1.
Oh, so
Now we
maybe
have-
March, April.
Yeah.
So with the budget.
Staying on fiscal year for
For-
one.
So when we're setting the budget, we're just setting this number.
Okay.
So March or April, you're
Okay.
comfortable with?
Is it possible to set it effective for July 1, or is it
Yes.
just?
Yeah.
Whatever they
Yeah,
want.
whatever you tell us you want, and then.
Because usually the documentation that we keep or ERPs.
So it would be nice to have a good cohesive working, right? So the subcommittee is open to the recommendation, so what works for
Yeah, the
everyone?
recommendation would be to do it prior to July
Prior to July
1st, so
1st.
we would have that.
Everything would be effective July 1st.
So starting March 1st, we'll say, no later than June 30th, how's that?
I would just say we should be setting this when we're setting our budget.
Okay, so March.
Just do it with the budget, be done, and they know where they are.
So this
And
year
then
will
it'll
be a
effective
short,
July 1st.
this year will be a short year, because we're setting
Date,
this
whatever
now.
date you vote on, which would be tonight, or whatever
Yep.
date you vote on, that's.
Okay, until the next budget is approved. All right, does that make sense?
Or July 1st, because you would say effective July 1st.
I'm just gonna write that, set annual seal bidding amount March at our regularly scheduled meeting, Board of Finance meeting in March. Yep. That's what we'll discuss that at the subcommittee. Okay. Thank you.
So we still need a motion to set the competitive sealed bid amount for $30,000.
I'll make that motion too.
Okay.
Gotta be.
To be second.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand.
I'll abstain.
Okay, so motion passes.
Okay, thank you. And so I will send it back to you. Is it on your agenda for Monday?
It is on our agenda.
Okay.
So that
And then we
is,
still need to approve the capital fund policy.
Now it's a capital fund policy, not capital non-recurrent, capital fund.
Is
So
there
it's a
any
separate
questions?
fund, monies go in, you're gonna get, in essence, a balance sheet and income statement for each one, reporting. We vote on what goes out of that capital fund, we do a town meeting, people vote yea or nay, you get bids, the whole kit and caboodle. And then after a project is done, I say, hey, this project was under budget by $5,000. I want to close out this project. It becomes a project-based accounting and put it back to the capital fund. And I gave you samples of what we did in East Granby so you could see it. Here's the money going in. Here's a listing of the projects. This is what the project was approved for. This was for previous fiscal years, cumulative expenditures, current fiscal year's expenditure, balance on that line item, total what should be in the fund. That's the capital policy.
Do we have any questions on that? And we've talked a lot about this one.
Reminds me, I've got limits.
It matches the procurement limits.
Oh, okay.
Like right now in the budget, it's there 300,000. So we have it, but we don't have a fund yet to put it in. We're getting there.
remember we said that
Just
restricted
That's why I said remind
until
me.
we figured out this capital thing?
Yep. We got there. That's all that matters. We got there.
And it still requires a town vote.
Yes, it still requires a town vote. We cannot just say we want this capital item and boom. Nope, the taxpayers have to determine if it's something that they want.
So everything that we follow in policy follows everything with our town charter. And statute.
So we'd be looking for a motion to approve the capital fund policy.
I'll make the motion that we accept the capital fund policy.
Record that.
I will second that.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you for all the work you
You
put
did it
into these
after all the
policies.
years.
Hey, it's teamwork, we work together, it's all good. We're there now, right?
Yeah.
So now
we
comes
go
step
back to the
2.
bylaw.
We're finally here, we've got structures, we've got financial policy that looks better for when we go out to fund. Now we have the fund cleanup. Now I want to take the mess of mishmash we have and make it align with all of these policies that we now do have. So, I don't know, do you want to go one by one? What is your pleasure, Madam Chair?
Well, let's do one.
Okay.
Let's just, so we understand where we're at.
Okay, and you all have copies of the screenshots of the current amounts.
Yep.
And this was also discussed in detail at the June meeting, so I attached that back up as well.
Is this one?
Yes, you can.
Yep, okay.
Okay, that screenshot. So there's two screenshots. We have both Webster Bank and then we have our short-term investment funds, okay, where the state still counts. So I want to transfer the balance of the Webster investment checking to the general fund. And it's called investment account, and it's the $3,867.27. That's highlighted.
Do we want to make motions for each one of these transfers?
Yeah, that's what we said.
That's what I just asked.
So that'll close out that account, or will that?
Well, we're gonna rename it, instead of closing it open, we're gonna